for I am the world's strongest general. Ask my soldiers. Ask those who have had the honor of boxing me. Ask my wives. Why even ask my girlfriends?
Didn't even have the money to pay the soldiers. So he gave them the authority to use the gun to get what to eat.
Uganda will be independent after this, my decision, after I want to see that the whole Kampala street is not full of Indians. It must be proper black, and administration in those shops is run by the Ugandans.
What will you do to them?
Okay, you will see.
You said you wanted Uganda.
I think they will not sit comfortable here in Uganda. I will tell you this. I must actually tell you the truth.
You've said you wanted to teach Britain a lesson, President. Why is that?
And that is now a lesson I'm teaching the British.
Idi Amin. Who is this very interesting tyrant who has killed over 500,000 innocent Ugandans during his rule in the 1970s? Guys, it's World Junkie here. Welcome to today's video. I hope that you guys are ready to learn a lot about Idi Amin and what he has done throughout the country of Uganda. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe and enjoy the video.
The soldiers who lived here killed many people on the ground. So in our tradition, such a place would be considered to be unclean to the king. So that's one of the reasons that's why he doesn't live here. He just comes for a few hours, then he goes back to his other part. So the plan of having a royal mile here was copied from Scotland in the 1950s. Our former king, who was called Mutesa II, visited there. He saw the Edinburgh Royal Mile, which was so interesting to him. Then when he came back here, he decided to have that administration block constructed there, so that can have the same kind of thing that I'd seen the other side. Then the Royal Mile here has 56 trees on both sides, and these trees represent the 56 clans that make up the tribe called Uganda. Name that identifies me as someone who belongs to the elephant clan, my clan, is Kakembo. So you cannot find that name in any other clan. When it comes to marriage, we are not supposed to marry within the same clan, but we must marry across clans. So I have 54 choices to pick a wife from.
That's a lot of girls.
Yes, so I can't fail to get a wife still. Many years ago, our ancestors could end up getting a number of wives from those different clans.
You could have almost 54 if you wanted.
Yes, others could have 80.
Oh, wow.
Like one of the former kings of Buganda, who was called Mutesa I, he had 84 wives.
84 wives?
Yes.
How many kids did he have?
Over like 150. He had so many children. We have people that come from the mushroom clan. So those ones cannot eat mushrooms.
Okay. Is there the chicken clan?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Don't have.
No, but it's a good thing, because imagine not eating chicken.
I think those people would sneak and eat it.
Yeah.
Yes. This is the Mango Hill. Now, our kings have always located their palaces on tops of hills. And first of all, that was a security strategy. So the king always expected attacks from his enemies. So by having his palace on top of a hill, it made it very easy for him to monitor whatever was going on in the valleys. So for whoever tried to organize an attack, they would easily know and prepare for them in advance. Before the king came to put his palace on this hill, this area was occupied by people from the Hippopotamus clan.
Okay.
In our traditions, each clan has got a different role that they play for the king. There is a clan that is responsible for the transportation of the king. That is the Buffalo clan.
Okay.
So during the days before the king started having cars, they could get 2 strong men from the Buffalo clan to carry the king.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now that we have cars, the person who drives the king must be Buffalo clan. He established the palace in 1885. And in 1897 was when he was arrested by the British after he tried to fight against them.
Oh, okay.
In 1893, he had signed an agreement with them, and he accepted the Buganda Kingdom to become a British protectorate. And he didn't realize that at some point they'll have to reduce his powers as king. When they did so, he was disappointed and angry.
So he fought back.
Yeah, he started fighting for his independence.
Oh, wow.
But he didn't have enough weapons, so he lost that battle, got arrested and taken to the Seychelles Islands in the Indian Ocean.
Oh, wow.
Where he later died in 1903. Mutesa II was the last king to live here. For he lived on this hill up to 1966.
Oh, wow.
And that was when this hill was attacked by the soldiers of Obote. Then Obote was the prime minister, and he was the one who had the executive powers. He had disagreements with the king, and then he decided to get rid of him, and he organized an attack using Idi Amin as the army commander. So the king escaped that attack and ran into exile in England. But again, he was poisoned and died there in 1969.
Oh, wow.
And our people believe that it was plotted by Obote, and then turned this whole hill into military base.
Okay.
So the soldiers lived here up to 1997. And that was when the current president gave the hill back to the kingdom. Okay. Now, for the current king, his name is Ronald Mutebi II. After the death of his father, he could not be crowned because the kingdoms had already been abolished. He had to stay in England where he was already doing his studies. Okay. Now, Obote was in power 2 times. First was before Idi Amin, and then after Idi Amin. Oh, okay. So the second time was when Museveni was fighting against him. And then, since he didn't have much support from the people, he found it wise to call upon the king. The current king was just a prince living in England. He called him down here to help him mobilize for support. Oh, and did it work? Yes. They had to agree that if the people help him and win against Obote, then he has to accept the restoration of the kingdom. Okay. A ceremonial king, he's just a cultural leader, not a political leader. Yeah, because the king, being a political leader, would still bring friction between the kingdom and the central government. At the same time, he's not the only king in Uganda, but there are other kingdoms. If you've been to Jinja, that is in Busoga Kingdom, they have their own kings. That make up Uganda themselves are 56, speaking different languages with different cultures. Yeah. So that's why everyone speaks English, because that's like the official language. That's the official language, and it is the only uniting language that we have in Uganda. In the near future, the Uganda government is planning to make Swahili the national language. It will be uniting us more with the other East African countries, because now we are under the East African community, which includes a number of countries. Tanzania, Kenya, all those people speak Swahili. Yeah. So we also have to get on board. Now we have this 19-feet fence made out of reeds. Now this is the kind of fencing that was used by our ancestors before the introduction of the brick walls. This was put back about 2 years ago. For decorative? Just, to bring back that feeling of an old palace. Oh, okay. And then the brick wall.
But you said that people, because of all the killings and deaths that happen on this hill, it's not like, it's seen as a very bad place for living. King. Oh, just for the king, but people can live here. Yeah. Other people can live here, but not the king. They are only occupied by those military men and women. Okay. These are the remains of the former king's cars. That was Mutesa II. Okay. He had a number of luxurious cars. He was really into cars. Yes, so among these he had Daimlers, he had Cadillacs, he had Rolls Royces, Chevrolets, and other types. So some of these cars were destroyed when the palace was attacked in 1966. And the big one that you see here was a Daimler Limo model 1962. Wow. It was one of those that survived because by the time the palace was attacked, it was not on these grounds. Oh. It had been taken away in Kampala, like
taken to Kampala for some bit of
Maintenance.
servicing, yeah, maintenance. Yeah. And then it was abandoned since the owner had been ousted, and then it was further destroyed by time and weather. That's why it looks like this.
Ah.
Then under the Daimler, there's a second car. You can see that.
Yeah. Was that a Cadillac?
Yes.
Because it looks, because it's huge.
The Cadillac was completely destroyed.
Okay.
Then this was the Rolls Royce.
Oh wow.
It has the symbol of the two arrows here. So it was also completely destroyed.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Which one was his favorite car?
It must have been the Rolls Royce.
And how many cars did he have in total? Do you know?
He had over 8 cars.
8 cars. Wow.
Yes. Because he had 4 Rolls Royces.
4? Oh my god. He was a rich guy.
Yeah. Yeah. He during those days, Uganda had coffee as its gold.
Oh.
And the king himself had his personal farms of coffee that he could stretch for miles. So he sold a lot of his coffee and he bought himself cars.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't even use like money that was meant for the government.
He used his own money to buy it.
He used his own money.
Ah, that's good.
Yes.
So the last king of Scotland.
Yeah, it really gives an insight of who Idi Amin was. Yeah, all the tortures and killings that are shown in the movie
Actually happened.
yeah, happened. The killings, you know, during those days, it was just risky to live in Uganda. Though
Yeah.
our ancestors, our parents, and grandparents managed to maneuver through that kind of life.
Well, I've heard stories of like people, they were living in the bush, they were super scared.
Yes, it was very dangerous to just sleep in your house because the soldiers were too indisciplined. Like they could attack people's houses to loot their property, and whoever tried to resist them could just be killed. So it was just crazy. And,
Wow.
yeah.
So his army was basically a bunch of rebels doing whatever they wanted to?
Yes, you know, there was a time when the economy of Uganda had was too bad, like, and then the Idi Amin didn't even have the money to pay the soldiers. So he gave them the authority to use the gun to get what to eat.
So he's like, I can't pay you, but you use your gun, and that's how you get your money.
Yes.
Wow.
So they started, you know, using the power of the gun to loot people's property. They could kill people to steal property from them, steal money, all sorts of bad things.
And he kicked out all the Indians.
Yeah,
that's what crumbled the economy, right?
Yes, yes. That was 1972. First of all, he thought that he was saving the country.
Yeah.
But it ended up destroying the economy. Because he thought that these Indians, they were making a lot of money here, but taking it back to India. And they also, he had, somehow they would be right, but because he tried to convince these people to apply for citizenship, but they refused. So he decided to send them out, and so that Ugandans can take over their businesses. But the people who took over these businesses afterwards, they didn't know how to do the business. And for most of the products that could be imported into the country, these people didn't know how to do it. They didn't know where to get these products from. Yeah, so the economy just went down. Some things became very scarce, like shoes and clothes, and many other things. Sugar, very scarce. The economy went down completely.
Wow.
So he didn't have any money. And then he ended up, you know, telling the Bank of Uganda, in fact, ordering the Bank of Uganda to print money.
Oh, wow. So, and then what happened then?
Yeah, there was inflation, of course.
Yeah.
Still, the economy was bad. He thought that by having more paper money would save the economy, but it was just bad.
And he invaded Tanzania as well, right?
Yeah, he invaded Tanzania, because of a number of reasons. First of all, he wanted to extend Uganda's borderlines into Tanzania, and still wanted the whole of Lake Victoria to be in Uganda, not to be shared amongst the three countries, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. So he wanted to conquer all that land that surrounds Lake Victoria.
Yeah.
And still, he knew that Tanzania was supporting Obote, because when he overthrew Obote, Obote went to Tanzania and he lived there. Yeah, so he thought that Tanzania was supporting Obote, so he wanted to attack so that he can probably overthrow the government there. Yeah, but he was defeated. He was defeated. But during his attacks, he killed many Tanzanian people in the northern parts of Tanzania.
Wow.
Lots of them died.
And I heard that because Julius Nyerere was the one in power, right?
Yes,
in Tanzania?
yeah.
And when he was about to counterattack Uganda, I heard that he sent him a message and said, "Don't attack us, let's go fight, like let's box instead."
You know, he was crazy. He was very crazy. He knew that that can't happen, of course, because Nyerere was not as strong physically as
That's why
Idi
he
Amin
said it.
was, yeah. Idi Amin was originally a boxer, and he had this.
And he was a big guy too.
Yeah, he was a giant.
Yeah.
But of course, he didn't expect Nyerere to accept that. Yeah, so he was just making fun of him. Idi Amin was a funny kind of president. He was a show-off kind of president.
Yeah, but there's two things. The first is that the reason why he kicked out the Indians, because a lot of people say it's because he wanted to date an Indian girl and she rejected him. Did you ever hear that?
I say that, but I don't believe in it.
I think he just generally wanted them out of the country.
Yeah, he wanted them out of the country.
But also...
That might have happened, but still, because he was also interested in girls so much. He had so many girlfriends. Yeah, he could even steal people's wives and take them away.
Yeah.
If you are a threat to him, then you could get killed.
And also, what's interesting is when you watch The Last King of Scotland, it looks like he's like a cool guy. He's funny.
Yes, he was funny. He was for those people that he was friendly to. He was the best kind of person.
Yeah, like you generally really liked him.
Yes, if you become a threat to him, that's when he changed his colors. But he was a loving kind of person. Yeah, his children, they will tell you how a good father he was.
Wow.
Yeah, he loved his children so much.
And he had a lot of children, right?
Yeah, he had quite a number of them. Now this was at first constructed as an armory.
Okay.
From 1971 to 72. The construction work was done by the Israelis.
Okay.
Because they used to do a lot of construction with the Uganda government. They also used to train the army and supply weapons. So it was Idi Amin who called them specifically here to have this constructed. And then,
because at first the Israelis were a big ally of Idi Amin.
Yes, they worked here, and then they broke ties in 1972.
When they hijacked the plane? Or before that?
No, that was 1976.
Okay.
Now, 1972, Idi Amin wanted to attack Tanzania. And I've told you that the Israelis also used to supply the army with weapons. So he asked them to supply him with fighter jets so that he can use them to attack Tanzania. But these Israelis didn't want to be looked at as supporters of such a war. So they refused to give him the fighter jets, and then he became angry with them. So he stopped all what they were doing here and forced them out of Uganda. So he became enemies with them from that moment.
Oh, wow.
So the 1976 Entebbe hijack, that was more of a revenge towards the
Israelis.
Yeah, so he helped these Palestinians. You know, this aircraft, as these people had, when they captured when they hijacked the aircraft, they were almost running out of fuel. So they wanted somewhere to land and get some fuel.
Yeah.
So they tried to land in Nairobi, but the government refused, and then Idi Amin accepted them. Oh. Yes, because he knew what they were doing, and he was in support of it. He knew that the flight had lots of Jews on it, and then he allowed them to land in Entebbe, and then they also kept these Jews hostage. He was happy about it. And then, the Israelis had to find ways of coming to attack and get their people. And, they are the ones that had constructed that airport.
Wow.
So they had the whole plan.
They knew everything.
So they knew where to go to do what, where to do what. And then when they came, it was very smooth for them to save these people. They only lost one soldier, that was a gentleman who was also called Netanyahu. So he was the only one that was killed here. And then the rest had to move out with the hostages. Yeah.
And they were hostages for like how much? 2 days?
Around 2 days. Yes. Now, this, I've told that was constructed 1971 to 72. Then Idi Amin used it as an armory for only 8 months.
Okay.
And after those months, he got information that Obote was in Tanzania trying to get some military assistance to fight back. So he took away all the weapons which were being kept here so that he can prepare for that war. Oh. And during the preparations, he began arresting all those people that were suspected to be supporters of Obote and still for whoever seemed to be a political threat. Then lots of these people could be brought into this place and was turned into torture chamber.
Was it ever closed?
Yeah, it had a strong metallic door.
Okay.
And it could be electrified.
Oh, wow.
And inside here, when you look at the walls down here, there's this dark green stripes around this whole place.
Yeah.
So whenever it rained, this place could be flooded by water.
Okay.
Up to that level.
Wow.
And during the dry seasons, the soldiers could use some trucks to carry water into this place. And this water could also be electrified. Then,
so if ever someone jumped.
Yeah, so whenever the soldiers brought prisoners here, they could first switch off the power, then first them walk through the water, and they could first torture them using this electricity. Oh, wow. They could keep switching on and off, and they could do that kind of torture, trying to extract information from these people. Wow. Then after that kind of torture, they could finally switch off and force them to climb into these 5 rooms, which worked as the prison cells. So this had sliding doors on the outside. Though all these doors were broken away by the last group of soldiers of the field, together with the one at the entrance. Then inside the rooms, they could have between 80 to 120 prisoners in just a room like this. And because of the limited space, and you can also see that this thing is underground, there are no ventilators or windows, so the aeration also was very limited. And then these people could run out of oxygen, and many could suffocate to death. Then after some few days, others would die of starvation.
Would they feed them or no?
No, they could not feed them with anything.
Oh, wow.
So someone could survive here for like 4 to 5 days. Then finally dies of starvation.
And they wouldn't give water or anything?
No.
Wow.
So the bodies could be carried in the trucks and dropped on the roadsides. A few of them into the King's Lake, down in the valley there, and so many others into the neighboring swamps, and they could be eaten up by different animals and parts.
Wow.
Then Idi Amin used this as a torture chamber for 6 years. That was from 1973 to 79 when he was overthrown. And he killed an estimated number of 19,000 people.
In this chamber alone?
In this chamber alone.
19,000 people.
Yes. Now, on the walls there are lots of writings, but these are written by visitors who come here, most of which are students who just feel like they should leave a mark. And then there are some people who believe that their relatives and friends must have been here before. Yeah, so they also do a bit of writing. Then the rooms could be much darker than what you see, because they could be completely closed and they never had light.
And also this was completely closed as well.
Yes, it could be closed. And then there was had any facilities inside there. So we just do the building there.
Wow, it's crazy.
Then when you look at the wall up there, you can see some bullet holes.
Oh wow.
Then there's another one down here, another one here, and some two up there. So this is proof that there was some bit of shooting here. So probably there are some few prisoners who might have been shot to death.
Wow. So this might have been like a firing wall.
Yeah.
Wow. That's such a weird feeling to be in here. So 19,000 people died here.
Yes.
And most probably more.
More.
Is there bullet wounds in there as well?
No, that's just mine.
Wow. So no one tortured, he didn't torture them, he just shoved 120 people in here and let them die basically.
Yeah. I would believe that starving would also be a part of the torture.
Yeah, no water, no food, also no air. Wow. This is actual footage of what the torture chambers looked like when Obote's soldiers came in. Such an eerie feeling to it.
But, for someone like me who has been here for almost 14 years, it became a normal place.
Do you find it weird that it's just a normal place now?
Yeah. My first days here, this place was very scary for me, but now I'm just used to it. Because you can't imagine how many times I've been here.
Yeah, it's normal, it's your job. Tourists that come here, is it mostly foreigners or a lot of Ugandans?
Most of the visitors that we get are foreigners.
Okay.
The Europeans, Americans, and then we also get school groups from Kenya.
Okay.
Because in Kenya they teach a lot about Uganda Kingdom in high school and primary school. There is nothing that is proven have been written by
Even like Obote on Rise, stuff like that. I saw one thing, is it true that he would say that like he's eaten blood and like human flesh and things like that?
No, that was an exaggeration of his character.
Okay.
He was not a cannibal.
No.
But people hated him so much that
They believed he was?
Yeah.
And that he's killed so many people that they thought that he must be eating them because he loves killing.
Yeah. But, you know, there are even people that said that he used to put people's heads and other body parts in freezers. But no, that never happened.
And overall, do you know the number of people he's killed? Does anyone even know that number? Or
the number of people that were killed in the whole country?
Yeah.
Still, it's an estimate, which is 500,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it could be more, could be less.
More.
Wow.
Because there's no one that, you know, try to count. But there are lots of people that were killed and people even never got a chance to see their bodies. There are those that disappeared and they got tortured but somehow survived, came back after some years.
Oh, wow. And also it happened a lot in villages and stuff like that where they were never not recognized or like counted in the census or anything. They were never on paper.
Someone left their family in the morning and went to work. It was always a miracle when that person came back.
Oh, wow.
In the evening.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So every day, every time you left the house, and it didn't matter who you were, you could be anyone.
Anyone.
Because he thought anybody can be anything. And
you know, the soldiers could just look at someone then say this one looks like a rebel. Then they take that person.
Yeah, that's
sometimes the people who had bad neighbors that had, you know, maybe vendetta against them, they could just say you know, they could just tell the soldiers that maybe you have some armed guys that you work with during the night.
Oh my God.
And then without any kind of investigations, those soldiers could just pick you. Wow. And you don't appear.
So you couldn't piss off anyone?
No.
So you would just...
We were supposed to be very careful with people.
Very interesting, very dark, extremely dark video, dark past of Uganda. But if you look at today, Uganda is in such a great shape. Everyone's happy, the country's at peace, the country's doing well, everyone has food in their stomach. But yeah, it's very unfortunate that, man, 500,000 people died. And I've heard stories of the days of Amin, and like, imagine hiding in the bush because you're so scared. Like, it's sad reality. Luckily today, people in Uganda don't have to go through this. That you really liked today's video, guys. It was super interesting to film. My tour guide was amazing, like, shout out to him. So yeah, so if you haven't already, like and subscribe so you can see more of these adventures, learn more things, see more crazy stuff. You know how we do it in World Junkie's videos. So yeah, so I will see you in the next one. So stay tuned and peace.